Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell mocked former Donald Trump advisor Steve Bannon for promoting a Republican candidate who lost in deeply conservative Alabama. The political genius on display, throwing away a seat in the reddest state in America, is hard to ignore, Mr. McConnell told reporters. The unlikely victory by Democrat Doug Jones shaved Mr. McConnell's already tenuous majority in the Senate to a single vote. Formerly a top campaign advisor and aide to Mr. Trump, Mr. Bannon left the White House and has continued to promote a nationalist agenda from atop the website Breitbart, an agenda that often clashes with the views of a Republican leadership Mr. Bannon openly despises. He has said it is a season of war against a GOP establishment. The Alabama Senate race put those fractures in the Republican Party on vivid display. Mr. Bannon championed far-right candidate Roy Moore throughout the race, breaking with establishment Republicans like Mr. McConnell. Voters sided with Mr. Bannon during the primary, elevating Mr. Moore over the more centrist Luther Strange, who drew the backing of party grandees including Mr. Trump himself. Mr. Moore was already problematic for some Republicans because of his controversial history. He was twice removed from the Alabama Supreme Court for defying the law, said a Muslim person should not be allowed to serve in Congress, and called for homosexuality to be outlawed. But he became toxic to Mr. McConnell and others in the party leadership after allegations emerged he had engaged in sexual misconduct with teenage girls. Mr. Moore denied the accusations, saying, "I have never engaged in sexual misconduct." Democratic senatorial candidate Doug Jones speaks to reporters after voting. Getty Images Republican senatorial candidate Roy Moore, L., and his wife Kayla ride their horses to the polling station to vote. AFP/Getty Images David Watson waves in a Santa suit as he holds a Doug Jones sign. AP Republican senatorial candidate Roy Moore speaks to the media as his wife Kayla, looks on. AFP/Getty Images Democratic Alabama Senate candidate Doug Jones casts his vote at Brookwood Baptist Church. Reuters Roy Moore speaks to the media after he rode in on a horse to vote. AP Democratic candidate Doug Jones greets supporters after casting his ballot. AP Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore departs on horseback after he cast his ballot in Gallant. Reuters voters wait in line to cast their ballot at a polling station set up in the St. Thomas Episcopal Church. Getty Images Democratic senatorial candidate Doug Jones, L., greets voters outside of a polling station at the Bessemer Civic Center. Getty Images voters exit after casting their ballots at a polling station set up in the fire department. Getty Images Democratic Alabama U.S. Senate candidate Doug Jones speaks with the media after casting his vote at Brookwood Baptist Church. Reuters but Mr. Bannon's website, Breitbart, dispatched journalists to try and discredit reporting around those allegations, and Mr. Bannon himself continued campaigning with Mr. Moore until the end, when voters rejected his chosen candidate. Soon after those results came in, verifying that Republicans had surrendered a seat in a state where victories are almost automatic, allies of Mr. McConnell began blaming Mr. Bannon.